So it's summer in Norway and I'm here in the Norwegian western coast, and I'm gonna try out 3 different Hennessy hammocks. The smallest one, the medium one and the largest safari. So I'm gonna look at the shelters, the shelter it provides, how the tarp is, how much wiggle room you have inside it, how comfortable it feels, the quality of it. Yeah, all in all I think they should be fairly similar, but I'm gonna hang them all up and try them out. The spot where I will be trying the hammocks is just a 10-minute hike through some nice forest areas. So I'm gonna start with the smallest hammock first and work my way up to the medium one and end up with the biggest one. And I got myself some trees that I'm gonna hang it in. I got one right back here, and then I think I got 7 meters over to the next tree here. And I will be using the same trees for setting up all the 3 hammocks and see how they fit, climb into it, see how it feels and how much room I have, and just overall the size of the package and what it feels like, what you would use the different ones for. First out is the smallest one, the Expedition. So I got the hammock up. And this is the smallest one. I've never used it before. This is the first time putting it up, and instantly I'm noticing that it needs a little bit shorter distance between the trees, because I have hammocked at this place before, and I've used both the middle-sized and the largest safari for hanging between these 2 trees. And this one, it was a little bit of a stretch. Other things I'm noticing, it is smaller. I can see that inside here it is smaller. So in here it's still a decent hammock, but it is smaller. You still have the same pocket up here, you still have the same hook up here, and the ridgeline you can hang stuff in. You still have the same attachment point here. So I'm sure I wouldn't have any problems with this hammock at all. It looks perfectly good to me. The only thing that I would complain about, it's the size of the tarp. I gotta say, this tarp, it looks fine for sleeping, but you don't have room for cooking and hanging out. There is one thing I've added to all the 3 hammocks, and that is the snakeskin. So I got that for simplicity on all of them, and it's well worth it. You can obviously get by without having it, so you don't really need it, but it's easy, and it makes it clean to set it up when it's a little bit wet and dirty on the ground. So for me it's worth the few extra grams and small cost for buying it. It is a little bit of a tight squeeze compared to what I'm used to, especially here behind my head. Just feels like there isn't as much room. I'm squeezed up in the side here, and I guess I'm spoiled using my safari, because that is so large. This is not bad, and honestly, if I was going hiking and I had to carry my gear, then I think this small hammock would be the way to go. Even though the size and the weight is not that much smaller than especially the middle one, it still is a little bit smaller. So granted the weather is not too horrible, then I could live with the tarp being a little bit smaller and the size of the hammock not being overly large. So that was the smallest one, the Expedition. Now I want to have a look at the medium-sized one, the Explorer, and see how that is in comparison. I'm gonna hang it up in the same trees and do everything the same way and see how it feels like. I think the tarp is the same size as on the small one, but the volume when you're inside should be a little bit better. Okay, got the middle one up now, and instantly it just it feels a little bit bigger, and it actually looks like the tarp might be a tiny little bit bigger. Like I said, tarp looks a little bit bigger, not by much, but I think by enough that you can hide under here a little bit better if the weather is bad. That's the middle one. That's the middle sized one, and yeah, here you could put a little bit of luggage under this tarp. You wouldn't be able to fit a whole lot, but you have a better chance of keeping your gear dry. Actually, just a few weeks ago I was motorbike vacationing with my friend, and he was borrowing this hammock, and I was using the Safari. And one night we had a thunderstorm rolling in, and we didn't want to stay under this one. The Safari has a much superior tarp, where you can actually set up camp chairs and cook and be fairly comfortable. So, but you have enough here that if you look under, and we hung stuff up here. We hung it up on the ridgeline, just where the hammock starts. We could hang our motorcycle gear there, and a few small things, and if we were surprised by a little bit of rain at night time, then the gear would be protected. The size of these hammocks, it's not enormous, but it is enough that it feels spacious in here. This hammock, it feels like I have more room up here above my head, so it's more comfortable, but I'm still squeezed a bit in the wall here, but not to the same degree. And here my head is on this material, it's not on the mosquito net. So there's a little bit more room to wiggle around here, and there's more room above you. There's a lot more room above you in this one. It feels a lot roomier. If I was going hiking and carrying a lot, because I'm not too tall, I'm only 174 centimeters, and I'm not too heavy, I'm about 80 kilos, and my preference would still be to bring the smallest hammock because of the packing size and the weight, but I would be tempted to bring this one. If you're a taller guy, if you're a heavier guy, I wouldn't even consider the smallest hammock. This middle-sized one here, it just gives me that added comfort, and if you're willing to carry a little bit extra, then this will be a more comfortable shelter. So that was the two smallest ones. Now it's time to bring out the Big Daddy, the Safari, and believe me, that is a very comfortable hammock, and I spent 9 days in it doing a motorcycle vacation in Norway just 2-3 weeks ago, and I slept so well. So I got the big Safari installed, and some of you may be in horror about the way I'm putting it up here. Like, the tarp is not properly tied up, and it's just a quick and dirty job, but I just want to show you the size of it and stuff. I don't have much to anchor it into here, and I'm not going to go looking for a whole lot of stuff in the forest. This is a big tarp, and it will provide you with good shelter, and if you wanted to cook under here, you have plenty of space. Do bear in mind that I haven't tied up the tarp properly, but you get the idea here. With a Safari, you have plenty of room to be hanging out under the tarp. You can do your cooking here, and you have a fairly decent amount of room for your luggage, even if the weather is wet. So anytime I have the chance, this is the hammock I'm taking, and that is a lot because of the tarp, but when we get inside here, you'll see the comfort level too. Home sweet home. This Safari is the undisputable champion. Just look at the space I have above me here. From my head, I have a fair bit of room here. I am laying almost completely flat diagonally. There is a lot more room to wiggle around and get really comfortable in this one. Yeah, I'm almost flat-bodied in here now. So when would I bring this safari with me? I'm gonna say I would bring this hammock absolutely anytime I didn't mind carrying a little bit extra. For me that means anytime I go kayak camping, which I do quite often. I normally don't do a lot of hiking. If I do hike, then I don't go that far, and I normally have my family or my kids with me, and then I can still carry the extra weight. So it's only if I was gonna go for long hikes and carry a lot, then I would downsize from this and take the smallest one. But anytime I have the chance, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind, this is the hammock I would bring. So if you're in the market for a Hennessy hammock, then I hope that this helped you a little bit. That this can maybe help you out deciding how much weight you want to carry, how much it packs, and what comfort you're giving up if you're going for the smaller one. Like I said in the video, if you're carrying a lot, packing light, and weight is important for you, obviously then the small one is the way to go. But for me, going motorcycle camping or going kayak camping, then the motorcycle and the kayak, it's my mule. I don't have to carry the weight on my own back. And there is no doubt I will bring the Hennessy Safari for those kind of trips. I would be perfectly happy with the middle one as well, but the small one, it feels like a compromise. So, and I guess that's what it is. They've tried to cut weight and size. Well, if you're into fishing and kayaking and camping and boating and outdoor living, then stick around and subscribe to the channel. And see you next time. Take care.